individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. And more importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children. Sir.
You listen to something like that. This is RFK Jr., director of HHS, talking about what is objectively, don't call it a pandemic, but what is objectively an increase in numbers. Call it an increase in numbers because of better diagnoses. I call horse crap on that. Call it an increase in numbers because of environmental factors. Call it an increase in numbers because of certain jibby jabs or the rate at which children receive various jabs, which they call it debunked. And I'm not so convinced it's debunked anymore because I have grown somewhat wiser that the harder they say debunked, you can't question it, the more you know that it might not be quite as unquestionable as they make it out to be. You listen to RFK Jr. talking about what is effectively a crisis in America. How can anyone twist this in any partisan negative way, you might ask? Let me just play this a little again here.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. And more importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem.
We'll pause it there for a second. Let's just look at the rates of autism. From 6.7, 1 in 150 children in the year 2000 to 1 in 36 children in the year 2000, whatever we're in now, 2020. Give or take, that seems to be when the graph goes until. That's indisputed. Indisputable. So you can call that whatever you want. You can say what it's not attributed to or not attributable to, but you can't say that it's not happening. And when you have RFK Jr. coming out there and saying it shouldn't be this way, you don't shame people for being born with deficiencies, physical or mental. You don't shame people for developing physical or mental deficiencies throughout life, but you sure as sugar don't aspire to have that as a new normal. You certainly don't celebrate it. And you have RFK Jr. come out and say something not innocuous, objectively true, and what is objectively a tragedy. And instead of the Democrats, won't someone think of the children, Democrats saying, you're damn right, RFK Jr., there is something wonky in Chinatown. That's not I don't even know what the hell the expression is. Instead of people saying, there's something wrong here that we need to address, you have them virtue signaling, normalizing the fact that a disproportionate number of children now are suffering from severe mental conditions. Listen to what Gwen Walz has to say. Gwen, no balls Walz, but she's got a reason for being no balls Walz. The wife of Tim, Tampon Tim, no balls Walz. This is what she writes. Because you got to virtue signal. You got to defend the indefensible. You're going to notice a theme for today's show. This is deeply upsetting, especially coming from our nation's highest ranking health official. I thought when I read the first two lines that what she was going to say was deeply upsetting were the numbers. No. What she finds deeply upsetting is RFK Jr.'s characterization of the severely autistic. Individuals with autism are family, neighbors, students, and coworkers, and they contribute more to this nation than this man ever will. Shut the fudge up, you flipping idiot, Gwen. All right, Gwen. Do you hear yourself, Gwen? That, first of all, making it a comparison. So now we're going to the metric of a man or a woman is how much they contribute to society, so that if we find non-tax-paying citizens, do we then say that they're less of a contributor to society and therefore less valuable as citizens? Because that's where you're going with this, Gwen. Individuals with autism are family. Yeah, we all have a family member with autism. That's not normal. We all know a friend who has a kid that has autism. That's not normal. And they contribute more to this nation than this man ever will. Go screw yourself, Gwen. Crawl back into your stupid virtue signaling hole and do not come back out of it. Like, people need to forget about Gwen Walz and Tim Walz. No, it's a comparative thing now. We got to celebrate it. I replied, like, I don't understand. Do you want more or less autistic children? Is the issue to address what's going on here or not to address what's going on here? Now they got to say, we can't address the problem. We've got to vilify the guy who's highlighting the problem. Oh, they will contribute more to society than you ever will, RFK Jr. So now we get to look at people and then judge them as to how much they contribute to society to determine their worth. I'll take a poll, but I don't really want to do a poll. Everybody knows somebody that has an autistic child or has one in the family. One of my best friends, I don't make public stories that are not mine to make public, but everybody in their family has an autistic child or niece, nephew, whatever, at this point in time. My best friend has a non-verbal autistic child. And by the way, just for context, not that anybody with half a brain and half an ounce of integrity needed the context. The broader context of it was RFK Jr. talking about the severely autistic, which I think accounts for like 25% of those diagnosed with autism. You got your high-functioning Asperger's, you got your high-functioning autism, and then you've got your non-verbal autism. Pierre Poilievre, he has a non-verbal 6-year-old. Whether or not the child will grow to be verbal, we'll see. You touch wood and you hope. My best friend has a non-verbal late teen, going to be an adult. You don't understand the level of stress that creates on somebody. We're young, but we're not going to live forever. And we are young and we can take care of our children. But when we're not there, who's going to take care of our children? Normally, the children grow up to be adults and take care of themselves. A non-verbal autistic child does not grow up to be someone who can take care of themselves. Then they become wards on the state. But you got Gwen coming out against RFK Jr., partisan bullshit because she's too much of a freaking coward and a partisan hack to address the actual problem. Defending the indefensible. Virtue signaling to distract from the underlying problem because God forbid we admit that there's a freaking big problem going on. Whether it's the jabs, the vaccines, the amount that they give you, the aluminum that's in them, the mercury that's in them, whether or not it's the amount that they give, giving hepatitis B shots to a newborn, whether it's mercury in canned tuna, whether it's environmental, whether it's chemtrails, whether or not it's energy drinks. It's not this energy drink because this one's good. There's a problem, Gwen, and picking on RFK Jr. is not going to solve it. Good afternoon and Godspeed, people. How goes the battle? Let me just check some messages here. Just going to check to see. Okay, well, let's see here. No worries. No worries. Next week? Question mark. I was looking to see if I can get a guest, people. We've got one hell of a show today. We're going to talk about Abrego Garcia, which is another one. We're defending the indefensible. The Gwen Walzes of the liberals, of the Democrats, have decided that instead of fighting autism, they're going to normalize autism. We need more autistic children because they're such great gifts to the world. We should be giving more autism. So it's not happening, but it's a good thing that it's happening. More shots for more young kids. You got the hell is his name? Not Van Halen, not Van Wilder, Van Hollen, the senator from Baltimore. The senator from Baltimore.
Yes.
It's there's Van Wilder, Van Halen, who's a band. Oh, say it again.
It's Van Hollen.
Van Hollen from Baltimore. I'll get to it in a second. There's comedic gold in all of this, and I got to give it to you in a second. But before we do that, because this is a show, and we like coffee. People, I'm going off script this time. Scripts for things. I mean, okay, I'm going off script. I love 1775 coffee. I drink it every morning. It's bold, it's beautiful, and it's not bitter. And you have some coffee that's smooth, but it tastes like you're drinking like diluted tea. It tastes like you're drinking like, what do I want to compare it to? Whatever. This is good coffee, ethically sourced. It's a company that's partnered with Rumble. You get a bag every dollar you spend until the 20th. You get 2 more days. We'll get you entered into the raffle that contest to win the Tesla Cybertruck and $30,000 cash. But even if you didn't have that as an added incentive, go get some now. Get some now before the April 20th comes around. At least make sure that your dollar spent is an entry. Every dollar spent is an entry into that. The coffee is delicious, and it's bold, and it's not bitter, and it wakes you up, and it puts hair on your chest, and they have the anti-aging coffee. It's delicious. You support a company that supports free speech, that respects you as a client and a customer. And I know there are a lot of people endorsed by coffee. Coffee is like one of those things where everybody drinks coffee, and if you don't, I'm suspicious of you. So go get good coffee. Oh, I actually should probably refer you to the website. It's 1775coffee.com. Promo code Viva will get you 15% off and get you into that raffle thing. So go do it and let them know that our audience drinks coffee and our audience respects companies that respect free speech, and they have partnered with Rumble, and it's a match made in heaven. And speaking of matches made in heaven, or match made in heavens, it's matches made in heaven. That was not intended to be the segue, but it's going to be the segue. Match made in heaven. Who's the guy? Van Halen? Hold on. Who put the meme out? Oh, where's the meme? My brother sent it to me. I'm finding the meme. Hold on. Cory Booker puts. Oh, come on. I was so smooth. I worked so hard to get the beautiful segue. Speaking of matches made in heaven, the AI is going to get out of control, and it's going to be fantastic. But for now, it's not out of control, and it's even more fantastic because nobody can accuse you of making something that's so close to reality that's indistinguishable and accusing you of trying to spread disinformation or misinformation. Spoiler, this didn't actually happen. This is AI, but they can take an image, and then they can, from that image, AI generate a full video of it. I don't know if I'm going to get copy claimed for the audio because I'm not sure if the audio is AI generated or if it's a real song, but this is a match made in heaven. Van Halen, who has traveled all the way to El Salvador to check in on his bro. Dos gardenias para ti. Now, the only question...
I build AI stuff all day long, and I still find this amazing. This is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like depth of field. It's artistically produced. I'll give everybody the link so that you can go share that with friends and family like my family did with me. Link, people. I'm going to make I'm just going with Garcia. I know it's Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was the man who was allegedly, apparently by the state's own admission, what was the word they used? By administrative error, sent to El Salvador. Now, unless I'm mistaken, and if I'm wrong, chat, I would like you all to correct me right now, and I'm not being glib or facetious. The administrative error, from what I understood, was not that he was deported, but the country to which he was deported. Because from what I understand, and I hope my understanding is right, and if it's not encryptus, you correct me, chat. I know the aggregate knowledge of the interwebs is going to correct me. From what I understand, 2019, he was, as a matter of law, and you can disagree with it as much as you want until you're blue in the face. I sometimes disagree with matters of law. I do not believe that O.J. Simpson was not guilty of murder. That's what I believe. But as a matter of criminal law, he was found not guilty. So you do not get to say that he was guilty of murder. You can believe it. You say, I believe he was, despite the whatever. As a matter of law, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deemed to have been a member of MS-13. Period. Whether you like it or not. It was in the bond hearing. A judge said, based on the evidence that was submitted to me, and it was not an ex parte, it was a mildly adversarial hearing where both sides had their evidence and counter evidence. The judge determined him to be, as per the evidence, an MS-13 gang member. So we're talking about someone who judicially has been recognized as an MS-13 gang member, affirmed upon appeal review, which wasn't necessarily an appeals court, but confirmed. So as a matter of legal fact, which is not fact, it's just legal fact. And it's very irritating. Sometimes legal facts are wrong. He's an MS-13 gang member. He was given a withholding from release, or I forget what the term was, not because he couldn't be deported and not because he was granted asylum, but because it was determined that he couldn't be deported back to El Salvador as a specific country because he would face what they deemed to be reprisals from gang members or rival gang members, which seemingly jives and coincides with the fact that he was deemed to be a gang member. He was sent back to El Salvador. Someone within the state said it was an administrative error. The state now, Pam Bondi now, and everybody now says, no, the dude was a gang member. The dude was here illegally. The dude is not American. He's an illegal alien from El Salvador. We didn't do anything to him other than send him home. It has since been revealed, we talked about this the day before yesterday, Maybe it was yesterday. I've lost track of days, weeks, months, and seasons. Because in Florida, every day is sunny and every day feels like summer. It was determined that his wife alleged, in a statement, said that he beat her. So we now have a judicial fact MS-13 gang member and an alleged wife beater as per his own wife's handwritten statement. Now, she was on TV earlier today, and who's the guy on the left? I cannot stand this guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and he's a useful tool for mainstream propaganda. But let's just hear what Good Morning America has to say and what Abrego's wife has to say about the statement that she hand wrote, that he hit her, scratched her, smashed her computer, threw a boot at her, gave her a black eye. Let's see what she has to say about that now.
I have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
My husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and I'm not going to push on that apparently. But how much hope?
You're not going to push on that apparently. Now, by the way, the delay. Don't say, "Oh, that's a full 6 seconds of silence." There seems to be some substantial delay with the internet. So his question gets to her. There's a delay. She's thinking about an answer. Then she starts speaking. There's a delay. Let me just see how long that delay was from when she starts talking.
You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
My husband is alive.
And that's about a second. My
That's
husband's
all I
alive.
can say.
That's all I can say. Yeah, that's all I can say because I'm scared of my husband. Tim Poole says, Abrego Garcia's wife refuses to answer about why she sought a protective order and claimed Garcia was mercilessly beating her. I think it's obvious she fears for her life now. She's probably under duress. I don't know about that. But I do know we went through the document. She said it. She wrote it in a statement. Smash a computer, hit her face, scared of her, tells her to take an Uber when he needs the car. Wife beater. So where are we at now? We're at MS-13 gang member, wife beater, illegal alien. There was one more. Came out earlier today. Apparently suspected on human trafficking. I kid you not, people. Suspected of human trafficking. Now, this is Fox News. Take it with a grain of salt. I hate using Fox News, but they're going hard. They're going hard on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia story, eh? Kilmar. Oh, so what are we at now? We're at the Holy Trinity, or the unholy Trinity, I should say. Gang member, wife beater, illegal alien. We're going to go for the grand slam. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is suspected of human trafficking in report obtained by Fox News. Abrego Garcia is suspected of partaking in labor, human trafficking, according to Homeland Security Investigations memo. Take all of this for what it's worth. Homeland Security is probably going to do everything it can in its power right now to make sure that this story stands, that he stays deported, although he's not coming back. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was reportedly deported to El Salvador, was suspected of partaking in labor human trafficking, according to a 2022 Homeland Security Investigations report obtained by Fox News. 2022. Who was president back in 2022? So this is not the Trump administration manufacturing a document to ex post facto justify their administrative error. This is 2022. The report also stated that law enforcement investigations revealed that Garcia was a member of the notorious gang MS-13, which President Donald Trump has designated a terror organization. It's developing. Check back later for details. So at the risk of this... Sorry, go ahead.
I actually have the actual legal document. I dropped that into the private chat here. If you just open that up and you scroll down to page 3, it says this is the actual gang report from the police that clearly identifies Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia as an active member of MS-13.
Gosh darn, Encryptus, for everybody who doesn't know who he is, we call him Viva's Jamie. He is agent guru _IO on the Twitterverse. Hold on. So now we've seen a few of these documents. I want to make sure which one this is. This is 2019. No, this is the document that identified him as a gang member, upon which I think the 2019 bond determined that he was a gang member. Is it this page 2 of 2? Well, let's just read through this. Let's go through this slowly. Bring this out here. Prince George's County Police Department gang field interview sheet. Okay, I don't know what all this stuff is, but this is a public document. So even if there's anything in here that's private, that's a chair under my thing. That was not me expelling gas. On March 28, 2019, approximately 14:27 hours, Detective Blank, yada, yada, 4 individuals loitering in a parking lot. Yeah, this is when everyone says, oh, that's just the only reason they determined him to be a gang member was because of a confidential informant source. You can disagree with the judicial finding of fact. You can't disagree that it is a judicial fact. Set that aside now. Detective approached the individuals. 2 of the individuals reached into their wristbands and discarded several unknown items under a parked vehicle. After all 4 were stopped, immediately recognized a couple of Bimbo, aka Bimbo, as a member of the MS-13 sailors clique. 2 small plastic bottles containing marijuana were located at the scene. All 4 individuals were transported back for interviews. Member of the Prince George's County Gang MS-13 Intelligence Squad have encountered Bimbo on multiple occasions. He has an extensive criminal history for multiple assault, concealing dangerous weapons, burglary, and many other offenses. He has also been found guilty of gang participation, yada, yada, yada. Gang member with the sailors clique and the observation of moniker or Bimbo. Okay. Officials also interviewed this guy. Then we're going down here. Do we see? Officials. Say it again.
You just moved off the page. It was the page you just scrolled by. That one right there.
Okay. We got officers also interviewed Jose Dominguez. During the interview, officers observed tattoos of skulls covering their eyes, ears, or mouths. Okay. Officers know these kinds of tattoos are indicative of the Hispanic gang culture. This tattoo is meant to be see no evil, hear no evil, blah, blah, blah. He also had a tattoo of the devil on his left leg, which officers only higher ranking MS-13 gang members are allowed to get. Okay. Officers then interviewed Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. During the interview, officers observed he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat and a hoodie with rolls of money covering their eyes, ears, and mouths. Of the presidents on the separate denominations, officer no such clothing is indicative of Hispanic gang culture, meaning hear no evil, see no evil, yada, yada. Wearing the Chicago Bulls hat represents that they are members in good standing with MS-13. Officers contacted a past proven and reliable source of information who advised Kilmar Abrego Garcia is an active member of MS-13 with the Western Clique. The confidential source further advised that he is a rank of Chequio, or the moniker of Chele. Encryptus, if you can find a picture while we're talking about this of Kilmar Abrego, I didn't know if it's true. Someone zoomed in on his fingers and they said, look, it's got marijuana, smiley face, and then the number 13, which marijuana, smiley, MS-13. I didn't know if it was true or not, or if it was even real. But
yes,
I didn't.
True. I'll grab you that photo.
Okay. Officers interview. Okay, fine. Now let's scroll down here. That looks like him. Record on March 13th, Prince George County Gang Unit made contact with 2 suspected aliens. Oh, this is it. Okay. The subjects freely admitted being citizens and nationals of El Salvador by birth and that they were present in the United States illegally. The subjects were not in possession of any immigration documents that would allow them to be in or remain in the United States. At approximately 1930, the subjects were arrested and transported to the Howard County Detention for overnight placement. On March 29, 2019, the subject was transported to Baltimore Field Office. This is Abrego is a citizen and national of El Salvador. Abrego claimed to have walked across the desert for many days, entering illegally into the United States near McAllen, Texas, on or about March 25, 2012. Processing information, immigration status, immigration charge. He's made no claims and is amenable to removal under whatever section. Humanitarian issues. Abrego claims to be in good health, given the opportunity to make 1 free phone call. Gang validation. Per Prince George County Gang Unit, Abrego Garcia was validated as a member of the Mara MS-13 gang. Subject was identified as a member of the MS-13 Cheque from the Western, yada, yada, yada. Intelligence information. Abrego gang has affiliation and subject states that he has no information about gangs or human smuggling. Abrego was advised of his right to speak with a consular officer of his native El Salvador. Abrego is claiming fear of returning to his home country of El Salvador. Disposition. A notice to appear is being executed on Abrego. Can you believe this is what they have to go through to expel an illegal immigrant who's if he's not a gang member, but it looks like he is hanging around with a bunch of gang members illegally? No, here's your notice to appear. Please come back. It's the honor system.
That photo is in your Twitter DM, sir, and I actually have it circled for you so you can very clearly see the label.
Yeah, but see, that's the photo that I saw. But dude, first of all, I'm so afraid of making a discrediting mistake. This is Abrego. So this was the zoom in of the photo, which was one of the common photos going around. He's got a tattoo on his arm. I think it's a wolf. It's a well done tattoo. It's not a prison tattoo. These finger tats are prison tattoos. I mean, I don't know if he's ever been to prison. I like tattoos. I don't have any. Maybe one day I'll get one. I don't know. Probably not. But when you tattoo your face or your fingers or your neck, when you tattoo any part of your body that you can't cover with a suit for an interview, you're making a very definitive and bold statement. This, according to the internet, is a marijuana leaf, a smiley face, and the numbers 1 and 13, 1 and 3, which looks like MS-13, marijuana smiley pie. This is the guy that these mother effers are going to bat for right now. None of it's, I'm picturing them dancing. Cory Booker, we must stand firm against Trump's disregard for the rule of law. You are, serenity now. Thank you, Chris, for your leadership, taking a stand for Kilmore and for all of us. I'm sorry. I'm not a wife beater. I'm not illegal. I'm not a gang member. And I sure as hell am not illegal. Alien. Holy crab apples. The hoops that I had to go through to get a visa. Holy mother cabri. Thanks for taking a stand against him. Who was it? Who what did he do? Let's get to what's his face? Oh no, sorry. Another one. Grateful to my friend and Maryland colleague, Chris Van Hollen, for traveling to El Salvador to try to check on Abrego Garcia's condition. We will not let up the pressure on the self-proclaimed dictator of El Salvador. We will not let up the pressure on the self-proclaimed dictator of El Salvador or the aspiring dictator here. Can you imagine? First of all, I fucking hate Jamie Raskin. I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and say, maybe he's a good man, maybe he's a good father, maybe he's a good husband, maybe he's very nice on a day-to-day basis, and maybe he's just the most rapacious piece of shit politician on earth. I don't know how this man can be a good man on a daily basis. Can you imagine the audacity it takes to go to a foreign country, or at least have your colleague go to the foreign country, while you call the leader of that foreign country a self-proclaimed dictator? I mean, it's beyond entitlement. It's beyond arrogance. And it's beyond pomposity. First of all, I don't know that the Logan Act applies. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it. But to the extent it does, lock up Raskin. Jamie Raskin, and I call him Ratskin because he's a human wrapped in rat skin, is the biggest piece of rubbish on the face of the planet. And now he's, I got a dog in here. And now he's praising his colleague, Van Hollen, for traveling to El Salvador on taxpayer dollars to try to get a gang member, wife beater, illegal alien, and alleged suspected human trafficker released. As if there's nobody in Baltimore that's suffering. As if there's no here. Forget non-criminals. Forget non-illegals. As if there are not hero American citizens, their freaking constituents, that are taking their own lives at a disproportionately high rate. And I'm talking about veterans. As if there's not homeless people on the streets in Baltimore. I feel Baltimore. Hold on. What what state is Baltimore? I'm going to embarrass myself here. Baltimore is in Maryland. I think I said it was a state earlier. I'm fact checking my own head. As if there's not homeless people in Baltimore. As if there's not communities in Baltimore that need that attention. No. Save it for an illegal alien, gang member, wife beater, suspected human trafficker who's now out of the country. It's like Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law is the theory that you have Parkinson's law of mundanity, which is, you can sit around a table and everybody will have an opinion on where to put the water cooler at the office. But when you talk about like infrastructure and restructuring and maximizing shareholder value, nobody has an opinion on it because it's too damn complicated. So you'll spend 45 minutes discussing where the water cooler goes, shareholder value, 5 minutes, gloss on, move on to something else. There's Parkinson's law. I forget the other one, what it's called, which is a principle to the effect that the time it takes to complete the task will expand to fit the time that you have to complete the task. Let me say that again properly. The time it takes to complete the task will expand to fit the time you have to complete the task. These jackasses can't solve their own freaking problems at home because they're too bloody complicated. What can they do? They can make a big fat stink and virtue signal until the wife beater, illegal alien gang member stays exactly where he is, but at least I tried my best for you. Can I get it back up, the dancing and kissing? I tried my best for you, Abrego. I'll always remember you. Like the illegal immigrants that they shipped to Martha's Vineyard. We love helping them, but not here. Get the hell out. Oh, you spent one night here. You've enriched our lives forever. Now go back to the encampments that we've set up for you. Go back to the big cities because we're just a little island. He's going to El Salvador to try to fight for the rights of an illegal alien gang member, wife-beating human trafficker. These people deserve to I would say they deserve to go to hell, but their life has to be a living hell. Oh, mamacita. Encryptus, my youngest is autistic, and it started 4 days after the MMR vaccine, like a switch. Encryptus, I knew that, and you were not. I was not disclosing your story, although I know that you've disclosed it. When I made that tweet, I have a family and multiple best friends, and I grew up with their kids. So that's Abrego. That's defending the indefensible. This is what the Democrat Party has become. May they keep it up. May they reveal themselves as the evil that they truly are. Oh. Yeah, I forgot about this. And like total, I'm swearing again, I'm sorry. Like total fucking narcissists. Whenever they do it, it's never about it's about them. It's like Justin Trudeau, every picture, like, oh, on this Holocaust Memorial Day. Here's a picture of me. On this day of Indigenous women's rights. Here's a picture of me. Oh, on this day of traveling to El Salvador, let me show a picture of me wearing a suit, drinking water, looking very stoic. He's in love with himself. And by the way, you go look at the pictures of the meeting after the president of El Salvador granted it. Dude doesn't look like he's being beaten. I know they washed him up and gave him good clothes and they gave him a bottle of water. Dude doesn't look like he's in Guantanamo, and it might very well be Guantanamo down there, but they fixed him up real good for the interview. But no, yeah, I don't always care about illegal alien gang members and alleged wife beaters. But when I do, I make sure to make it all about me. Look at him. He's so happy with himself. He got his meeting with Abrego. Mission accomplished. Oh, what's that? Baltimore is one of the shittiest hellhole crime-ridden cities in all of America? Forget that. I can't fix that. I can go and get a photo op in El Salvador. Plus, I get a free trip. Plus, El Salvador is safe enough now for American politicians to go visit, thanks to the self-proclaimed dictator who actually locks up his criminals. You don't get many El Salvadorian politicians traveling to Baltimore. I've also got a bunch of friends. Maybe they don't call me friends anymore. I think they would still call me friends, actually, who live in Baltimore. They tell me it's a steaming pile of shit as far as the city goes. And I'm sorry to be mean. They say they don't take the subway in certain times of day to certain places. When they're on the subway, they don't take out their cell phones. It's a freaking crime-ridden hellhole. Go defend rapists and illegals and gang members and human traffickers and wife beaters, Van Hollen. Good for you. Sammy says, I don't know how you can have a deportation order, but you can't deport them to their country of origin. Make it make sense. I forget what the term was for the notice of whatever the term was, that he didn't get asylum, but he got a notice of non-removal or something along those lines. And the distinction, from what I understand, I reserve the right to be wrong because this is relatively new to me and I do my best to make sure I understand it. The notice of non-removal says you can't take him back to a specific country because he might face specific violence in that country from rival gang members because he's not a member of a gang. That's Abrego Garcia, people. While we take a little bit of a pause before we get on to the next one. The next one's good. Fauci might be straight up in big fat trouble. Trump might be playing a little bit of, call it 4D chess, or he might just be playing 3D chess, or he might just be playing chess and setting up his moves for the future. But it might not be for mere blustering. Him suggesting that the pardons issued by Biden's auto pen might not be binding. We'll see. Get there in a second. Stephen Britton voted in Canada. We might get to some Canadian stuff, but I think I've maxed out. I think I've maxed out the tolerance of the American crowd for the insanity going on in Canada. We're going to get to Fauci in a second. Let me say this. Driving into Baltimore every day to see my son at the John Hopkins, there are a ton of homeless. Yeah. Hold on. Let's just do this here. Baltimore crime rate. You want to see this? Look at this. Let me bring this one out here. I know this. I know this because this is the first thing I look up whenever I go anywhere. Baltimore's crime rate is generally higher than the national average, particularly for violent crimes. However, recent years have seen a decline in violent crime because we no longer report them, including a decrease in homicides. Specifically, Baltimore recorded 201 homicides in 2024, the lowest since 2021. Holy crab apples. Crime rates vary significantly by neighborhood, with some areas experiencing higher crime rates. For example, the Middle East neighborhood had a crime rate of 10,945 per 100,000. That is so flipping wild, it's beyond words. So, Lost Core 23. Yeah, there's good universities there, and there's good, study places, and it's not a safe city. El Salvador, the same El Salvador that emptied their jails, brought them to Mexico border. El Salvador, LOL. Sammy, yeah, but I think that was under the previous president, and now this president is going quite the opposite way. The drop in crime in El Salvador over the last 5 years. Drop in crime, El Salvador.
They are the safest country in the Western world.
Within what, 5 years? El Salvador has seen a dramatic drop in its homicide rate with a 98% decrease in 9 years, reaching 1.9 per 100,000. That is so flipping amazing. Just remember, so we're talking homicides and not of crime. 10,945 in Baltimore, not murder, not homicide. What is the homicide rate in El Salvador? Let me just for comparative purposes. Baltimore homicide rate. Race, it's on 201. What does it say per 100,000? It's not giving me. I'll have to go. Yeah, per 100,000. Holy shitballs, people. What do you think Baltimore is? Don't look it up, Encryptus, and don't spoil it. Chat. El Salvador had a 1.9 per 100,000 homicide rate. What do you think Baltimore has? I see it. I'm just going to go look to the chat because I actually want to see what people think about this. What do people say in the chat? Rate per 100,000. Chat's not moving fast enough. Come on, people. You can do better than that. Let me see over at Locals what they say. When I was stationed in Baltimore, D.C. area, late 80s, 90s, and 2000s, Baltimore was a wonderful place to go, says Merchant Marine. Merchant Marine says 1 to 100. Okay, but Svi Hansen says 10,000. No, that's way too much. Sting says 2.9. This is in our Locals community. Let's just see who gets it closest. 90, 10, 6. Everyone's wildly under or wildly over. Do South Africa, says King of Biltong. I'll do South Africa in a second. It is 35.9. I wanted to show you that. So here, drop it. Here we go. Baltimore. The homicide rate is 35. I don't even know if that would be 35 times more or whatever, 17 times more, or is it like, how do you determine the percentage more than 1.9 per 100,000? Hey, Jackass Van Halen, stay in your own freaking city and fix it up there. Stay in your own state and fix it up. Let's do South Africa, actually. Hold on. Baltimore here, share. Let's do South Africa. 45 homicides per 100,000. It's not much worse than Baltimore. Biltong. King of Biltong. Go get it. BiltongUSA.com. He makes the best beef, not jerky, Biltong stuff on earth. Sammy over here says, Viva. It's taking a little bit of time for this to come up. No, it's not because I didn't push it. Viva, the new president was elected in Feb 2024. So yeah, it's safe because the old president exported them to the US. That's just science, haha. Well, shit, I have to go back and correct my own initial impression. That's a good point.
Check out your DM. I just dropped a very interesting image you might like.
DM really, as in Twitter. Let me think about this for a second. Because either way, I can make it. I not spin it. Either way, it's a good political thing. Get rid of your criminals. But what has what's his name, Bukele, done in the last? Someone I was under the impression that they had changed some policy within the last 4 to 5 years, and that explained.
You can see it on the chart.
Okay, here, hold on a second. Let's bring this chart up. Agent Guru sent me this via DM. El Salvador became safer than the U.S. in 2023. When were the most El Salvadorians coming to?
It started when President Trump was elected, which again, I believe was NGO powered and timed perfectly. Look at it. And then when Bukele comes into power, that's that little plateau you see, and the far downward trend from there.
Here, Bukele.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to digest that information. That's very, very interesting. Wow.
And the commenter is 100% right. So it started about 4.5, 5 years before Bukele. And it was because they exported him. But again, I think that was planned, again, to cause Trump problems by the NGOs, by USAID. This was all funded by all of those organizations. And look at the timing. Look at the spike.
But actually, let me because it's true. Here's the question: we don't see the numbers of we don't know the numbers of El Salvadorians that were coming to America. But the question would be this: if all of these criminals are coming to America and America is over here, why wouldn't we see a correlative or at least a proportionate spike in crime in America? Maybe we do, because these might not be a massive number in El Salvadorian numbers, but we do see a bit of an increase right there up until the Summer of Love.
This is the same time that the FBI changed how they reported statistics.
I'm getting blackpilled in real time as we put these dots together. That's absolutely fascinating. Let me just see one thing. El Salvador, what are we saying the population of this El Salvador is? It's not very much, 6 million. Okay, 6.3 million. Yeah, so these numbers are probably not insignificant, but wildly lower than America. But you see you do see the spike there. A little bit increase in Canada, although increase in Canada, I can tell you why that is. Well, that's interesting. That's fascinating. And it's when the FBI started redefining and potentially not reporting on all. Cities started changing how they were reporting. The cities that took in the most illegals. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, speaking of locking people up, Fauci should be going to jail sometime soon. And I don't use the Lord's name in vain very often, and I'm not using it in vain right now. God willing, he will go to jail. He deserves to go to jail. This was the news that broke, and then everyone's like, "Is this really the White House? Is this really the White House landing page for this? Is this really a White House internet page? What the hell's my problem?" It is, people. whitehouse.gov/lab-leak-true-origins-of-COVID-19/. And I've archived it. And I'm going to give everybody the archive so that we don't lose this, because it's a flipping thing of glory. Now, I'll tell you this. I've been saying it for a while. Let me back out here for a second. For anybody who calls me a Trump bootlicking sycophant, MAGA, whatever, I will still give Trump criticism for what I believe should be a revamped position on not Operation Warp Speed, but on the jibby jab. He's got to stop touting that as a success. And I think this is the first of the dominoes indicating that we're getting there. Fauci lied. People died. We were told that we couldn't question the origin of the leak, that it was racist to suggest it came from China at a time when Trump was waging something of a tariff war with China, at a time when he was seeking re-election, and he would have gotten reelected had COVID not occurred. And I would say, in retrospect, thank God that COVID did occur, and the lawfare and the next 4 years of living hell, because it resulted in a clear mandate and a man on a freaking mission, that being Donald John Trump. This is on the website, and it is now clearly identifying certain people that have lied and suggesting that justice might be coming. The proximal origin of the SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. Pangolin. Someone was eating have you ever seen a pangolin, by the way? Like, I think people think pangolins look like penguins. They're a wild-looking animal, and I forget why I was just looking at a pangolin. They're like armor-plated, roll into balls. Why was I looking at a pangolin? They were removing something. It was one of those videos that came up my feed where they're trying to remove a hook from a pangolin. Something like that. Okay, whatever. One, the virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. The Norman cleavage site, whatever the hell that thing is called. Data shows that all COVID-19 cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. Yeah, and by the way, Canadian soldiers were training in China at that time, and there's good reason to believe that that's how COVID got into Canada, because they brought back some infected soldiers. And who confirmed that with me? It was Catherine about 2 weeks ago. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research, which Anthony Fauci lied under oath about not being conducted there or not financing it because they went through a third-party NGO, Eco Alliance, whatever the hell it was called. Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at a wet market. I don't know that was it ever even actually discovered at a wet market? By nearly all measures of science, if there was evidence of a natural origin, it would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. Okay, then we got this. Proximal, okay, yeah, okay, fine. Look first, there we go. That's what we want to see. Why? Oh, is this beautiful? First of all, the website is beautiful. I mean, it looks a little bit, less professional in archive, but this is beautiful. High quality image showing the pardon, a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses against the United States, Anthony Fauci. Let's just see what he has to say because it's fantastic. HHS obstruction. The Biden administration's HHS engaged in a multi-year campaign of delay, confusion, and non-responsiveness in an attempt to obstruct the select subcommittee's investigation and hide evidence that could incriminate or embarrass senior public health officials. It appears the HHS even intentionally under-resourced its component that responds to legislative oversight requests. Eco-health obstructions. Eco-health President Peter Daszak obstructed the select subcommittee's investigation by providing publicly available information, instructing his staff to reduce the scope and pace of productions and doctoring documents before releasing them to the public. Further, Dr. Daszak provided false statements to Congress. Jail. Dr. Morenz. These are the two most villain names in all of this right after Fauci. Fauci's senior advisor, Dr. David Morenz, deliberately obstructed the select subcommittee's investigation, likely lied to Congress on multiple occasions, unlawfully deleted federal COVID-19 records, and shared non-public information about NIH grant processes with EcoHealth Dr. Daszak. New York obstruction. Kathy Hochul. Oh, lock the biatch up. Dr. Kathy Hochul, who's still pushing the jab on 6-month-olds. Encryptus, if you can find my tweet with Kathy Hochul. I know it's young. 6 months, that's what they say. Still pushing that toxic shit on children. Jail for Kathy Hochul after a fair trial where they determine guilt beyond a reasonable doubt and lock her up for the requisite period of time. New York's executive chamber, led presently by Governor Kathy Hochul, redacted documents, offered numerous illegitimate privilege claims, and withheld thousands of documents without an apparent legal basis to obstruct the select subcommittee's investigation into former Governor Cuomo's pandemic. Remember the same governor who said, don't worry, businesses, we're not going to come after you. We're just coming after Trump. Then we get into everything. WHO's response to it was an abject failure. Fine. Social distancing was a total load of shit from the beginning. 6 feet apart social distancing recommendation, which shut down schools, was arbitrary and not based in science. During closed-door testimony, Fauci testified that the guidance was sort of just appeared. Mask mandates. We all knew them. Well, I guess we all sort of, some of them knew them better than others. They didn't work. The mask mandates, it worked at something. Go Google the amount of plastics found deep in the lungs of humans. Maybe it's from the masks. Maybe it's from ambient, whatever. The masks, go look up mask mouth. Not meth mouth, mask mouth. Cavities for children, acne, respiratory problems. Look it up. Oh, then we got Cuomo, mass murderer, misinformation. This is a thing of beauty. Now, let's just see what the conclusion was. COVID misinformation. There seems to be no conclusion. Just, dare I say, a warning. It's a thing of beauty. I'm reluctant to use the expression heads should roll because nobody should misinterpret anything as a dog whistle or even like a veil. People need to go to jail. People need to lose their Secret Service, whatever, their legal protections. They need to lose their pensions. They need to stand trial for what they did, and they need to go to jail. It's that line from Magnolia. Some people need to be forgiven, and other people need to go to jail. If anybody who has not seen Magnolia, watch it. It's a work of art. John C. Reilly, I think it's arguably his best role, where he's a cop, and the end of the movie, that guy who always plays a weirdo in Fargo, I'm not going to remember his name, steals some money from his boss because he wants to get his teeth fixed so that he can be attractive to the bar guy that he has a crush on. And John C. Reilly's pontificating. Like, sometimes, people need to be forgiven. And what can you forgive? And sometimes they need to go to jail. Fauci deserves to go to jail. And that's in a civilized society. And a lot of these people are lucky that we do live in a civilized society. Not Steve Buscemi. It was Steve Buscemi was also in was also in Fargo. William H. Macy is the one I was looking for. Yep. He's a damn good actor too. Magnolia, fantastic movie. Boogie Nights, one of the classics. I don't know how old one's children have to be, and I don't think that's the type of movie that a parent can ever watch with even their 25-year-old child. Boogie Nights is one of the best movies also ever made. Mark Wahlberg's best performance. And the behind-the-scenes the editor's cut and the DVD with the extra stuff on it, what went on behind the scenes, amazing.
I did find those, and I put those into your DMs so you can bring those up.
Oh, I thank you very much, sir. This is, hey, everybody. Oh, let me see this one here.
And you had two good ones, as a matter of fact.
Hold on. Let me see this. How do I get the tweet? Okay, so we got that one. Donald, hold on. How do I do this? What's my problem?
You just click. You can click right on the link there.
Yeah, I want to get the video of her. Oh God, I hate her so much. Well, let's just bring this one up. Hold on 1 second. How do I do this? There were a lot, but there was the one when she was talking about, I know it seems young. You got to go get your 6-month-old jab with this toxic shit because I get kickbacks and I don't get those kickbacks if they don't give them to me. Look at this. I thought this was a fake. I had to double check this video because people were saying there was a fake version going around where her eye was stuck shut and they were saying it's the COVID eye. Look at this.
Hi, everyone. Kathy Hochul is reminding everyone it's time to get that COVID shot. I know a lot of us want to forget about COVID. We all know somebody who's contracted it and not feeling good these days. So here's how we prevent it. Just stop by your local drugstore, your pharmacy, your own provider. Get the shot now. Every year you should be thinking about getting that. It doesn't take any time at all. In fact, we're going to show you how fast it is. Let's time my visit here today.
Like, I know some of you guys out there give me a little bit of shit because my audio quality is not particularly good. I'm an independent. What the hell is this? Although now I do appreciate, how irritating bad audio quality is. Let's get started. Let's go see me jack my body up in, and we're never really actually going to see the jab go in, eh?
Get started.
I don't know why she's...
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Hi.
Is this on? Am I on fast speed? Why are the seconds going so fast?
Yes, I am.
You'll just see the pharmacist Danielle here. She'll help you around over here.
All right. Oh, yeah, let's go get this.
Hi, Governor Hochul. My name is Danielle.
I'm giving unsolicited medical advice.
Doing a lot of these or not so many?
Oh, yeah, we're doing plenty, which is great because we want to protect our community.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, except it doesn't prevent transmission or contraction. But yeah.
Wear the right clothing. It's going to go up really high on the arm.
All right, Governor.
Here, by the way, notice. I think there's a cut. No, we just don't see anything.
All right, tell me when you're going to start.
You're so freaking funny, you devil.
Feel it. Okay, that took 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
Thanks, everybody.
Tell us how long the myocarditis
Thank
lasts.
Thank you.
Hell. Hey, everybody, your chief pharma saleswoman is back at it. There's a special seat in hell staying warm for you, Kathy.
That new DM you just got was for me. A special SOV put a wonderful meme together for you. You have to show this one.
A special SOV. Hold on. A meme? Okay. Are you sure this is a meme and this isn't actually a picture of Kathy Hochul? This is like... I know, but it's like... First of all, and the hate is not the right word because it's almost a humorous hate. She deserves to go to hell. I suspect the rest of her life will be a living hell because the level of ire that she will get from her brethren, I cannot imagine a greater hell than not being able to walk among your people. She deserves to... I hate her. She's a terrible woman and she's responsible for a serious amount of death and devastation, still pushing that shit on kids. 6 months. So Fauci might be in for it, people. We'll see. Fingers crossed. What else? Oh, we'll move on to another story. There's been updates on the Florida shooting from yesterday. Thus far, until proof to the contrary, one shooter, and it happens to be, I don't know if the word is a sheriff, but it happens to be the son of law enforcement. 2 people dead, 2 adults. We're going to get to it in this. I picked CNN just to to see what the enemies are saying about this. But the two adults are dead, 5 were injured. The shooter was shot, taken into custody, and we'll just read through this so you get the update. This is the latest as far as I could tell for the time being. Florida State University student accused of killing 2 people, injuring 5 others, was the son of a local sheriff's deputy. Why did I take the CNN, by the way? Because, look, everybody is looking for a political angle to it. I haven't done a sufficient deep dive into the kid's social media footprint. They're spinning it as he was a beyond conservative. I presume they're going to go with like the far right incel type narrative. The son of a local sheriff's deputy spent time training with law enforcement and serving on the Sheriff's Advisory Council in the years before the attack. Why is this interesting, by the way? There's a number of things I'm thinking of here. One of which is Crooks, the would-be assassin of July 13, training at gun ranges with intelligence, with FBI, with agents and whatever. And being a objectively, visually bizarre-looking kid, we all look bizarre and there's no judgment there, but, suspicious looking, how that didn't raise any flags, or if it did raise any flags that we don't yet know of because we don't know jack squat about what happened, that kid, his family, etc. There's that. So now we've got 2 incidents where shooters have been training. And by the way, when I say that they're, objectively weird looking and suspicious looking and give you the heebie-jeebies, in this article, you're going to hear about how this guy was giving even classmates and people on campus the heebie-jeebies to the point where they kicked him out of clubs. So odd behavior, antisocial behavior, training with firearms in the presence of professionals, and yet slips under the radar, whatever. But this is, there's only so much you can do in a free society. When he was taken into custody after being shot by police, Phoenix Eichner was carrying a handgun that used to be the service weapon of the sheriff deputy Jessica Eichner, according to official records. Review of the court records show Eichner had a tumultuous childhood with another woman identified in the documents as the biological mother, accused of removing him from the U.S. in violation of a custody agreement when he was 10. Jessica Eichner is his mother, deputy, served as sheriff's department for more than 18 years, McNeil said, adding that her service to this community has been exceptional. She did not respond to a request for comment. Phoenix was a member of the Sheriff's Youth Advisory Council, which is designed to, quote, provide an open line of communication between the youth of Leon County and local law enforcement. Longstanding member. On Instagram, an account with Eichner's name and photo that was taken offline after he was publicly identified included biblical quote, "You are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you I shatter nations, with you I destroy kingdoms." Eichner is a registered Republican. According to Florida voter registration records, he was quoted in January in an FSU student newspaper article about anti-Trump protests in advance of Trump's inauguration. These people are usually pretty entertaining, he said, usually not for good reasons. He's described as being a political science major. I think it's a little too late. Trump's going to be inaugurated, and there's not really much you can do unless you outright revolt, and I don't think anyone wants that. Okay. Hospitalized, yada, yada, yada. Here. This is where I want to get to the club that he was asked to leave because of unsettling behavior. Reed Siebold, FSU student, told CNN he knew Eichner, whom he encountered in an extracurricular political club a few years ago. Siebold told Eichner was asked to leave the group, which discussed current events due to behavior that unsettled others. Quote, he had continually made enough people uncomfortable where certain people had stopped coming. That's kind of when we reached the breaking point with Phoenix and asked him to leave. It went beyond conservatism, his comments, and it's been a couple of years now. I can't give you exact quotes. He talked about the ravages of multiculturalism and communism and how it's ruining America. CNN has not independently identified verified the claims, yada, yada, yada. His mother was accused of taking him to Norway when he was 10 years old in violation of a custody agreement. The court refers to the child as Christian Eriksen and says that his biological mother are both dual U.S.-Norwegian citizens. That's the latest, and don't need to politicize everything. Don't need to racialize everything. Don't need to politicize everything in the absence of any indication that it was racially or politically motivated. Some people are crazy. Some people just snap, and that's the latest of it. Now, the question that I have, setting aside the fact that the element of having trained with law enforcement, and if this kid had unsettling behavior to other students but didn't go notice to authorities, whatever, not pushing a red flag law or anything, just pontificating out loud, One question I have, are they going to indict the mother like they did with the Michigan parents? But they didn't do it with Crook's parents? Like, I mean, this is where I start. I'm not politicizing things. This is where I just start to, either connect the dots or notice that the dots are not connecting when they otherwise should. They go and make a political example out of the Michigan parents. I forget their names, but did not sue the parents for Crooks, potentially because of what that might have revealed. But the kid sounds like he had a beyond tumultuous childhood. And I do wonder, we looked at this yesterday. I would be curious to know medical records if the kid was taking drugs, on drugs, legal or other, diagnosed, prescribed or other. We'll find out. Crumbly's, that's right. Thank you. Crumbly's parents. So that's the latest on that. What else do we have to talk about today in Cryptus?
I just saw something in the chat that really got my blood boiling. Apparently, Austin Metcalf's father got swatted last night.
Can you pull up an article? I heard that. I hadn't. Let's see here. I heard that as well. Austin Metcalf swatted. I'm going to take something other than Fox News. We'll take Dallas News. That looks like it might be more close to the source. Yeah, I wasn't. I briefly saw this earlier today. Dallas News. Okay, screw off that. Austin Metcalf's family targeted in quote swatting call Thursday. Frisco police say this is from the Dallas Morning News. Officers responded to a false gunshot call to an address tied to the family. Let's just see the details here. Swatting call was made on Thursday to an address linked to the family of the Frisco teenager who was fatally stabbed earlier this month. Frisco police. That bothers me. Frisco police said officers responded earlier in the evening to a gunshot call at the address tied to Austin Metcalf's family. Grant Cottingham said the call turned out to be false. The Department of Homeland Security defines swatting as the act of making a malicious hoax call. Earlier Thursday, the parents of Carmelo Anthony, who's facing murder charge, had spoken publicly about the case for the first time. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, was barred from attending the news conference. You know what's amazing? Jeff Metcalf did not immediately comment on the swatting incident when they reached out Thursday night. What's amazing is they're trying to not paint a narrative now. They're trying to create the impression, a public pressure now, that if they don't acquit Carmelo, that there will be riots. They're trying to put pressure and create this race-driven narrative that if they don't acquit, it will be unfair, racially disparate application of self-defense laws. And they're trying to harass the father. And now, in their own minds, because the father showed up at the press conference yesterday, I have no doubt that the radical activist terrorists on the side that would racialize this for the purposes of creating public pressure to, intimidate any prospective jurors into acquitting, are saying, yeah, this is what the dad gets for coming to our show. We didn't invite him. He should have known better. This is what you get. I have no doubt. It's absolutely horrendous. PDJT, why are you not stepping in here? Set things straight. End this swatting. A twin was murdered. That poor kid. And you think of that story. It's just lives ruined. Ruined lives. And add insult to injury, the harassment. Let me bring it back up and see if there's anything else in the article. Cottingham, they declined to provide additional information on the call. I don't even understand how swatting's happen. If they're using real numbers that turn out to be fake or rerouted, but you get calls from unidentified numbers and you respond to a swatting. Cottingham directed reporters to file open records requests under the Texas Public Information Act. The news requests were pending late Thursday. The stabbing has drawn national attention. Frisco police have not said that race played a role in the stabbing case, including the responding officers whose accounts were included in the report. Much of the online discourse and disinformation has been along racial lines. Metcalf was white, and that other kid black. Yeah, swatting should be treated like terrorism. So it's horrible. Yeah, that'll get your blood boiling. And insult to injury, there is the lack of humanity. It's just abject lack of humanity. All right. Well, that's that. Now, there is some more stuff here that I had. Oh, we're going to do a little bit of the Canadian stuff, okay? The debate was last night. It will be morally remiss of me not to cover the highlights of the debate. And let me entertain this for the American audience who might not be interested in the Canadian election. Canada is thoroughly fooked. Now, I put fooked like I'm talking like Conor McGregor. Canada is thoroughly fooked because if you watched that debate last night, and if you watched it the night before in French, whether or not you think Pierre Poilievre is the lesser of the evils, those four candidates, one of whom is a separatist, one of whom is a freaking jackass, Jagmeet Singh, and the other two candidates who are the professional ones, Canada's fucked. Because that's the leadership. In the best, most ideal of circumstances, Pierre Poilievre becomes the Prime Minister of Canada, feckless in any event. But they had the debates last night. And what you've seen up there is a globalist whore that is Mark J. Carney. You have Pierre Poilievre, who's a political coward, but could have been a contender. And you have the French-Canadian guy, Yves Blanchette, who is a separatist. And I say that with full respect. I mean, he's entitled to believe that. And I can understand Quebec's desire to separate from the Federation of Canada. But understand that if Mark J. Carney is elected Prime Minister of Canada, this will have impact on Canadian-American relations. This is a question asked by Yves Blanchette. Get past his accent. He's a bulldog, whether you like him or not. And understand the corruption of Mark J. Carney. And I'm going to pull up another one. Understand what Mark J. Carney is doing to America with their retaliatory tariffs. They're trying to wage something of a war that can be considered more like terrorism. Listen to this.
You have been the manager of Brookfield.
Brookfield Asset
It's
Management.
supposed to be a green investment fund. But we now know that 50% of the investments of Brookfield is in fossil fuel. It's not so green. You seem to want to support oil and gas industry. That's interesting. You want to support prefab housing, and it's also in the investments of Brookfield, but not in Canada.
Okay, just pause here, just so everybody understands this. When I say that Mark J. Carney is a globalist, corrupt whore, it's because he is. Mark J. Carney, Brookfield Assets Management, he has not disclosed, that's the whole punchline of this, what his interest is in the company. Brookfield Assets Management is basically investing in modular housing. This guy is now promising to deliver modular housing to Canadians so they can live in basically government-owned ghettos without disclosing what his assets are, what his interest is in Brookfield Assets Management. Brookfield Assets Management has invested in dirty energy in Brazil, UAE, while this guy right here, that scoundrel son of a bitch on the left, has been advising Justin Trudeau to implement crippling climate crisis policy in Canada.
You want to support nuclear power, smaller reactors, which are more dangerous, by the way. And Brookfield has investments in Westinghouse. You have hidden the money of Brookfield in Bermuda and Cayman Island, $30 billion.
The problem is his accent's a little better. Brookfield Assets Management, a Canadian success story, as this guy's going to say, hides their money in tax havens in Bermuda and the Cayman Islands. $13 billion.
Billions of dollars lost for Canada. You are having your taxes being paid by families, workers, elders in Canada and Quebec instead of paying your own taxes. So I want to know, will you, before the election, reveal all the details of your assets as Mr. Singh has done, as Mr. Poilievre has done, and as I have done? We have a right to know under those circumstances.
Let's pause it. I don't like Yves Blanchette politically because I think some of his stuff is a little bit too Quebec-centric and not paying attention to the rest of Canada, but that's his mandate. Why is Yves Blanchette giving Mark Carney a harder time than Pierre Poilievre? I mean, why am I giving Mark Carney a harder time than Pierre Poilievre? It's good. Pierre is lucky that he can benefit off the fighters on the side here. That's one hell of a freaking question. Get past his English, get past his accent. Why haven't you disclosed your assets? You take $13 billion and offshore it to the Cayman Islands. You take your company out of Canada into America. You are a globalist whore who is now coming, and basically, if Canadians are stupid enough to do it, or maybe they just love being dominated by a globalist, this guy could be the next Prime Minister of Canada, and the Liberals could actually pick up seats in the next election. Let's hear the answer.
Let him answer.
Well, the first thing is I want to say a word about, I'll say a word about Brookfield.
How would you answer the fucking question, Carney? Yeah, the first thing is, let me go into a soliloquy. That's not answering the question. Scoundrels, snakes, and if you don't know how to identify it, you get fooled by it. I've asked you a question. Why will you not disclose your assets? Let me tell you a story about when I was a child. I was raised by middle-class parents.
This is a Canadian success story. It is the largest infrastructure investor and developer in the world. It is one of the largest, if not the largest, developer of renewable power in the world. And who benefits from that? That's Canadian pensioners. That's Quebec pensioners. That is teachers. That firefighters. It is a series of people, including individuals on this stage.
Does that mean him? Like, is that what he was just saying? Yeah, Brookfield, it benefits people, including some on this stage.
Benefit from that. Now. Always acted with integrity.
Always acted with integrity.
Served the shareholders of Brookfield when I was there. I have left that. I have followed all the rules well in advance. I have followed all the rules well in advance.
Let's reveal your assets like we all did.
And working for the people of Canada.
What do you own? Why don't you tell Canadians?
And that is time, gentlemen. Moderator, get the hell out. You're fired. That's all. I'm sorry. Hey, you know what I didn't hear in that minute of verbal diarrhea? An answer. That wasn't the best highlight, though. The best highlight was this one.
Oh, before you get off that one,
yeah.
Do we want to do a quick body language analysis? If you watch Carney, he rubs his nose just before he answers.
Oh no, there was a bunch. I'm actually going to suggest that the behavior panel do that. But this like literal washing of his hands. No, he's a liar. But let me just get my lies. It's pathological. But hold on, there was an even better one. Let me see here. Remember everyone. Okay, not this one. Here, I think it was this one. Yeah, this is when Pierre gives it here. Let's bring this one up here.
And
here, listen to this one.
And you advised governments, including Justin Trudeau's, your Liberal government, to print money, which led to the worst inflation crisis in a generation. Now, that means that mothers went to bed with empty fridges and empty bank accounts.
See, I don't particularly care for this type of melodramatic layup or laying the bricks, but whatever, that's what Pierre decided for strategy.
How they'd feed their kids, that seniors worried they'd be evicted from their homes, that young people believed they'd never be able to own a home in the first place. Now, in retrospect, you look back on the Liberal decisions that you advised Justin Trudeau to take.
For the last 5 years.
You looked at the camera in the eye and apologized to the many people who suffered as a result of the inflationary policies that you advised Justin Trudeau to implement.
1.
It's
2, 3, 4.
I said earlier,
5.
But I'm going to say it again. I know you want to be running against Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau isn't here.
Are you denying you were his economic advisor?
I did not provide any of that advice. I did not provide any of that advice.
On the Liberal Party website.
I'm sorry.
The body language, the behavior panel is going to have a field day with this. I consider myself to be an amateur, but I'm still above average. Look at how he gets so flipping defensive and tries to laugh off a hard truth.
Advice. I did not provide any of that advice.
On the Liberal Party website.
Sorry.
Are you accusing
you see
your
that face
Liberal
right
Party of lying about your role? Because it says today the Liberal Party accusing your Liberal Party of lying about your role. Because it's
hold on,
party
website.
There,
right there.
The party website. Are you accusing your Liberal Party of lying about your role? Because it says today you can go to the Liberal Party website now, and it says that you are Justin Trudeau's economic advisor.
The way you judge
again, just
someone,
not outright not
is
answering.
how they act.
He's awful. He's just so flippin' awful, and how it's not just not close. How he's in the lead should scare the living hell out of everybody. Link to that. I mean, it's horrendous. But by the way, I know you wish Justin Trudeau were here, but he's not. You think the whole scheme now is laid bare. Throw in a new face and leave in the old infrastructure, but the new face is an old face because he's been advising Justin Trudeau for 5 years. On that tweet, I had, go to the WEF website. Hold on. What's his face? Mark Carney, WEF. Just go to the WEF website. It's like they lie to your face with not impunity, with like just like you're an idiot. Like they expect you to believe it. Where was it? Go down here. Who's it pointed at? Carney also worked as one of the many informal advisors to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau during the COVID-19 pandemic and was made chair of the Liberal Party's Economic Growth Task Force in September 24. This is on the WEF website. And this MFer is leading in the polls because nobody is going hard on Carney. Hold on one second. Oh, no. Hold on one second. Sorry, I wanted to bring up Poiliev is going to get cream sleeping dick wound. Well, your name is fine. But by the way, I know you. Let me not answer your question. Let's just say something pre-rehearsed. I know you want Justin Trudeau up here, but I'm here. I'm not Justin Trudeau. I just do the same dick wagging thing with this fucking guy. I'm sorry, this guy's name. What's his name? Hold on, I'll get his name in a second. He's not Justin Trudeau, by the way. What his name starts with a W.
Congratulations,
like
Mr. Trudeau. You've joined the Hip Flip Club. Really appreciate it.
It's an exclusive membership. I'm very pleased about it.
What's that guy's name? Nardwuar.
Congratulations, Mr. Trudeau. You've joined the Hip Flip Club. Really appreciate it.
It's an exclusive membership. I'm very pleased
Nardwuar.
about it.
I mean, it's horrifying. But he's not Justin Trudeau. They just do the same Nardwuar hip flip. Apparently, that guy used to interview rock stars, and he used to be, and he interviews politicians. He's not Justin Trudeau. He's just been advising Justin Trudeau. He's not Justin Trudeau. They just do the same homoerotic, whatever the hell that is, bizarre dances. That's what's going on in Canada, people. What the fuck is this? Who's Nardwuar? I mean, I apparently I'm supposed to know who Nardwuar is, but I have not been. I have my Nardward. Okay, I'm not putting up a bunch of these comments. Holy cows. Let me get to some of the chats, which I know that I've missed. We've got Angus 4. It says donated, but I think this means Angus has become a member of our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Angus, welcome to the community. We're going to start our after party in a few seconds while we raid Hunley and Grobert. Encryptus, that's who we're raiding, correct?
Yep, we're actually gonna do 2 today. We're going to start with America's Untold Stories. We're going to wait 10 minutes, and then we're going to raid King of Biltong.
Okay, let's do it now then. Well, hold on. Do it at 1:20, and I will just kill the rest of the 10 minutes, and then we're going to do Biltong to end up the show. Let's go.
Well, they're not live yet. So neither one of them are live until 1:30. I'm watching both, so as soon as they're live, we'll do that.
Well, what was I just about to do here? I was just about to share the screen, not with Sleeping Dick Wound's profile that I accidentally brought up. King of Biltong is in the house. Do South Africa homicide rate per 100K. Want to add more protein in your diet? Add some healthy, high protein, packed with B12, creatine, iron, zinc. A great addition to a healthy diet. Go to BiltongUSA.com. Code Viva for 10% off. We live stream at 5:15. Oh, they might 5:15 Eastern, directly after Viva. Are you sure they're not live, Encryptus? Encryptus.
I'm checking that right now.
Doing some light banter whilst cooking and baking great food. What we're going to do right now, we're going to go prioritize our locals community. We're going to do this here. We're just going to take all questions we'll get the questions. Ask anything of our locals community, and I shall answer. Sleeping Dickwood, yipes. Merchant Marine says, Viva, what are we doing with you in Chattanooga? So we're having our locals meet and greet, or it's going to be a 1776 fundraiser. I think we can, there's no sturgeon fishing out of Chattanooga. So we're going to have to do a fishing show. Well, fishing show. We're going to do fishing. We're going to go fishing, people. Maybe no hunting. Hunting might not be good. Did I get everybody's? Viva. There is soon to be released important documentary from Mickey Willis called "Follow the Silence." Is it about people who were harmed and continue to suffer from the so-called vaccine and their struggles trying to get help? It will open in Austin, Texas on May 15th. Well, definitely keep an eye out for that. Viva, the new president was elected in February. Oh, so I got this one already. And then the rest we got already. Let's see what's going on in the chat over in locals. Pierre Poilievre said Canada should learn from Quebec's pride. Did he forget that judges in Quebec wrote Bill C-7 in 2020? Hold on one second. What is Bill C-7 Quebec? Bill C-7 expands the law that permits anyone who considers their physical or physiological suffering to be intolerant to qualify for death. Oh, it's amazing. This is where you just say, like, what the hell world are we living in? Bill C-7, an act to hold on, was this the Quebec one? An act to amend the criminal code, medical assistance in dying, addresses the issues of Bill C-7 expands the law to permit anyone who considers their physical or psychological suffering to be intolerable to qualify for death by lethal injection, even if effective medical treatments for their condition exist. The lack of parameters directly threatens the lives of people with disabilities. Act B says. So that's I think that's federal. So who are the judges in Quebec that did that? Over back to locals. Viva says, Care Grant, have you had a good tourtière yet? Ben là, il va falloir que je check c'est quoi une tourtière ici. Tourtière. Is that shepherd's pie? I have not had a good tourtière. I am not much of a fan of meat pies. I hope my wife is not listening because she does make a good shepherd's pie. But I prefer the simple shepherd's pie. Steak and potatoes. I have not had a good tourtière to answer the question. Back to the locals. Let me see what we got here, and then I'll go. Pierre Poilievre. Okay, so I got that. When is Biltong evacuating South Africa? No, Biltong's in Texas. He's out. He's out, and he's doing well. Let me go to the chat over in Rumble. We've rated Biltongs? Why did he just?
We rated. Yeah, we just rated it. I'm just explaining that now.
We got DMC.T says, I live in Chattanooga. Go fishing on the lake. Yeah, I'm sure. I know they have bass fishing charters because I
got you covered. You and I will take care of that. This is my area. Remember?
I did not know. I knew that. I thought I knew that, but hold on a second. Muskie fishing, Chattanooga. Is there muskie fishing in Chattanooga? Melton Hill, Muskie, Chattanooga Free Press. No. While Chattanooga Creek in Chattanooga, Tennessee might be a good place for some smaller game fish like largemouth, it is not known for muskie. To find prime muskie in the area, you'll need to consider larger lakes and rivers in East Tennessee like Norris Lake, Melton Hill Lake, and Collins River. I've only caught one muskie in my entire life by accident, and it was relatively small. Let me just think if that's even true. Hold on a second. It's either a muskie. I'm not mistaken on the fish. I just don't remember the experience. I'm sure that I caught one muskie once, and it was by accident. It was very small. And I caught one walleye during spawning season. Had to put it back. Big fatty. Beautiful fish. All right. Go back to
good fishing. And if you want to learn catfish fishing, I know it's something you haven't done much of, right? You said.
Should we do noodling?
We can do noodling.
Roostang says, Viva, Laura Loomer and others are calling Florida Governor DeSantis a weak governor because he is not putting a halt to the rise of Islam neighborhoods popping up all over the state. I don't know how do you, well, first of all, let's just even assume that that it's right, or let's assume that that's your objective. How would you do that? I mean, it seems like it's again a immigration issue that's federal. Merchant Marine says maybe do a cooking show. That would be great. We could do a catch and cook. I've never eaten catfish in my entire life. Griffin says, I'll ask a man who let me know about C7. He may have kept some articles from them. No, but everybody was Garcia released? No, Garcia was not released. He went back to El Salvador prison because the president of El Salvador has acknowledged that he is also a gang member. So it's by all accounts an indisputed fact, but they're going to bat hard for the gang member, wife beating, illegal alien, human traffickers. All right, back to locals. Let's see what we got here. Have you ever been deep sea fishing? If you ever come to the Houston area, we can go get some big ones. It says Cultivated Mind. Yeah, I mean, I went deep sea. Like we took a charter boat. We took a charter boat, which I'm never doing again. I'm never getting on one of those big boats. First of all, we went charter fishing on a big boat. Like, everybody pays $85, but we were 6 people. So we could have just rented a freaking boat for the same price. The diesel fuels make you want to puke. They took us out on a day where they told us basically in advance, but nobody put it together, you are going to vomit. Everyone that I was with, except for me and my kid, hurling over the side. I think we had 9 rods, between 6 or 9 rods. Were we 9 people? Either way, I'm never doing it again. We caught nothing. I've gone on a boat a couple of times. Let me see if I can find the picture real fast. Viva fry. What are they called? They're called mahi mahi. There should be a good picture of us. Is that me? What the hell? Dude, this is me? Hold on, let me get to the picture. Yeah, we went mahi mahi fishing, and we caught a bunch with my kid's best friend. Well, here, this is my video. I can show it. What the hell's my problem? This is the boat that we got. So we caught this one, and it got eaten by a shark. That was a.
Oh my goodness! Look at that. Okay, that's crazy.
I had to put that one back.
Daddy, take a picture for me.
Yeah, of course you're gonna eat this.
What happened? Hey, yo, fish.
No, I think.
Well, it's still good. That's still got 3/4 of the fish on that. You can't keep them. Yeah, you
can't keep them.
Oh, even if it's dead. Yeah, well, hold on. We're gonna get. There you go.
So they wouldn't let us keep it because I think it was not within the limit, or if they.
So you can't keep the fish even if it's dead, because it's under a size.
Yeah, you can't measure the whole fish. Yeah, you'll get screwed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make sense.
Look at the color.
So these are the 2 fish that I caught. And so apparently, if you want to get a little sad, that's a male and a female. The male is the one with the big bull head. The male is the bluer one. The female's the other one. And apparently they couple and they stay together and they hunt together. And they get caught together. And if they don't get caught together, the female stays around where the male was caught, or vice versa. But anyhow, bottom line, we ate that. It was freaking delicious. And those were some decent fish. I'd never caught it. So anyways, I don't know if you call this deep sea fishing, but we rented a boat and we went out with the family and it was awesome. So there's that. I don't know whose question I was answering there. That was Cultivated Mind. Okay, that was a long answer for yes. Maybe do a cooking show. Okay, fine, we go down. Getting all the. You got a dolphin. They're called dolphins, but they're not. They're fish. Those are great fishing pics, says Kara Grant. The fish were delicious. And that boat is tiny, says Cultivated Mind. Yeah, but it was good. I mean, I think it was $600 for 4 hours for all of us. I mean, we were a bunch of people, and then tip. So, and we don't do it enough, but it's expensive. Publicly posting the bunny meme is not appropriate for a respected professional person. Sending it privately is something else. I agree with Finboy. Take it down. I don't know what bunny meme is going on here, and I'm gonna not get involved in that conversation. When your enemy is making mistakes, don't get in their way. The Art of War, says Peter Phillip, 1972, and I don't know what that's about, but I agree with it. Small boat fishing is way better. Yeah, they could maneuver better. They went around. There's a place off of the coast of it's off the coast of the east side near Miami, where apparently there's a big pipe, like all the water comes out offshore and all the fish hang around it. It was great. I eat deep fried. Okay, can you grab and drop in Discord, please, says the real Encryptus. There's no Discord. I don't know what a Discord is. I'm not getting involved in Discord, people. Viva Fry does not have a Discord. I don't want to get involved in it. I hate Discord. I can't add any more apps. I can't add any more to the bandwidth. Is that even the word Discord? It triggers me. That makes me.
There's an interesting story. There's apparently Carmelo caused a fight at a Trump rally, and it's a video of that, and he's sending it to you.
Okay, now I won't say race is getting involved.
I knew you'd be interested.
Politics is
That's
definitely.
why I want.
Viva, when will you be releasing the reef snorkeling expedition video? Hold on one second. Reef snorkeling. Have I done reef snorkeling? I released the oldest lighthouse video. Oh, I need to release the Red Rock hike. Viva Fry is retarded. Join Discord. I'm technologically retarded. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Bad things happen in Discords. It's a trap. Viva, stay away from Discord, says Merchant Marine. Okay, now are we going to go raid? We're going to go raid Hunley, Lord Buckley.
As soon as it's ready, I've got it lined up. As soon as they're live, I'll push the button.
Awesome. And now let me see. We're going to take some chats over on Rumble as well. Thanks for the shout out. I was talking about the senator and the MS-13 piece of shit, says Peter Phillip, 1972. My pleasure. Let me go here. Continuing the Baltimore saga, the roads are the worst in the country too, says Lost Core 23. Anybody complaining about roads just needs to come to Quebec. Just come to Montreal for the weekend. It's the worst infrastructure on earth. And that's assuming you don't get crushed by an overpass that collapses or by massive slabs that fall off the highway system there. Back to locals. Viva, I understand your reluctance towards prayer, but Canada needs every little bit of help it can. We are doomed, says In the Belfry. Well, I've been coming to grips with prayer. I mean, it's like there's a reason why everybody on earth resorts to it in a moment of crisis. There's like very few people who are in a car accident or who go through immense stress, threat, tragedy that don't immediately turn to prayer. And I believe there is something of a cosmic reverberation, if I can get a little metaphysical. Merchant Marine says prayer works. But my prayer for Canada is not that Pierre Poilievre wins. My prayer for Canada is that Canadians wake the fudge up. Because I've seen it, and this is where I get a little despaired. It's like, it sincerely feels like Canadians want a globalist. Like they in their minds have been brainwashed collectively through state-funded media that a globalist is a good thing now, because we've gone from WEF doesn't exist, it's a conspiracy theory. Agenda 2030 doesn't exist, it's a conspiracy theory. You will own nothing and be happy never happened. Oh, it happened, it was just an opinion piece. We've gone from all of that to you need to be this and you need this guy and it's for your own good and America is your enemy. So Hyphen says, I caught 2 sharks in Ras Shukr, Egypt. That was fun, and we ate them too. Delicious. I have eaten shark. I got shark from the market in Montreal. And In the Belfry says, yes, exactly. Canadians must wake up, which is why my criticism to Pierre Poilievre is he had the moment to wake up Canadians, and he chose to not even play it safe. We'll see if it was safe. I think it was not, but he chose to play to Canadians' brainwashing instead of the cold cup of water, metaphorically speaking, that they needed to get out of it. So that's that. Now let's go back to Rumble and see what's going on in the chat. They denied a woman treatment when allowed her to use the new machine. It broke and she had to be strangled by someone. Oh gosh, are we talking about euthanasia gone bad? Voting PPC in Calgary, says Ronz Zautner. Israel is owned by their own deep supreme judges. Jordan owns the Temple Mosque, and Christians, not the Jews, are allowed in. I am not getting in to that discussion. He needs to carry apples with him. Does a lot better, says Cadino Drive. I was a little, when I say sassy, I mean, I've been critical of Pierre, but like I said, he maybe now's a good time to say nothing about Tamara Leach, Chris Barber, Natasha Graham getting beaten up by cops. Like I said, but in fairness to him, maybe he was busy eating an apple. And in fairness to him, when he's got, some of the uncensored critics like myself, and when he's got Yves Blanchette doing his hard work, maybe he thinks he doesn't have to do it. But I tell you, cowardice never sells. And that's all I got to say about that.
Raid is completed. I think it's time to move to locals.
All right. Locals, Rumble. Hold on. Let me do this. So the raid is here. Join. Watch this, guys. Let's just go look at the chat. Go over if you are so inclined. They're great and they deserve a bigger audience. They're live. Oh, this is Anton.
So clicking that button actually brings you to the first raid.
Yeah.
But the people still got sent there automatically. So
they got sent where automatically? Just so I understand how this works.
To America's Untold Stories. I was in there. It did get sent there. But clicking that link at the top of the page actually goes to the first raid that was sent. It's a weird bug. But They definitely got some.
Good. So they got some, and let's see what America's Untold Stories gets. I'm not following. I just want to see their live, and let's just see. What are they talking about tonight? Trump. Oh, they're talking about the RFK files. People are going to be interested in that. Here we go. I love this now. Now we can see. Look at this sweet. What's up? Okay, and we're gonna end this. I'm out. Bye bye. Okay, so go raid them if you're so inclined. If you want to come over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the continued after party. I have exercised today, so I'm not even stressed to go exercise. That's how good it feels. I didn't do my push-ups. I haven't done my push-ups in a little while, and I'm feeling like I'm getting fat and soft, but whatever. I biked. I went for like a good 20-mile bike ride. Oh, I'm going to show you some gator videos over on Locals. Come over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. If you're not, before you leave, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, go to Louis the Lobster and get a book. I don't know how many we sold. I'm looking at this. Go to Viva Fry, get some merch if you're so inclined. The book is a bigger one. Go get a book. Read a book to your kids, people. Here, link to book. It says ink to book, which is a fortuitous typo. All right, that is it for the show, peeps. We're going to go over to Locals and the after party. Thank you all for being here. Sunday night show is coming up. Clips are coming up on Viva Fry on YouTube. I've been putting the entire unedited streams on Viva Replay, or at least that's what I've turned Viva Clips into now. It'll be on podcast. Look for Viva and Barnes Law for the People, or Viva Fry Recovering Litigator, whatever the hell it is. Google my name. You'll find everything you need to know. Out. Going to Locals. Peace. Eric Hunley, America's Untold Stories, or Eat at Anton's. Those are the two places to go. Peace out, peeps. Wait, supporters, Locals, coming now. Okay, I got to pee, but I'm going to hold it in. Speaking of two Canadians, says Griffin, I think you can go to your Elections Canada office that's on your voter card and vote on certain days. Have a look at the voter card you received in the mail. Oh, so I was having this discussion. Okay, Tzvi Hansis, let me bring this one up. This is actually good to share. I was having a discussion with Pleb where he said they're trying to get people to sign with pencils and, bring a pen. It's more secure. I just was like, they've always done it with pencils. It's nothing new.
Fact. We provide pencils to mark your ballot. The mark made with these pencils can't be smudged. But if you want, you can bring your own pen or pencil. There's an easy way to get accurate info about elections. Electofax, just one click away. Find out more at elections.ca.
So the question is this. They've always done pencils. And I remember one of the scandals was, I think it was the 2021 election, because they called that election within 2 years of the prior election. And everyone's like, it's a big waste of money. It's during COVID. Yeah, why are you doing this? And the amount that they spent on pencils was an issue of how much did Canada spend on pencils for the 2021 election. I remember it was in the news. Yeah, here. 2021. It was the most expensive election ever because of COVID. And here, pencil. Other costs include supplies needed. Okay. Oh, that's it. What were that? There was a cost. Anyways, they cost money. I forget how much it cost. It was stupid how much the pencils cost. But they've always done pencils. I don't think the pencils have erasers, so you can't even erase it, even if it could be adequately erased for the purposes of not being read by the machine. But anyhow, if you want to bring pens, the machines read pens as well. What was the point of that, Sviansis? You can bring your own pencils. Oh, here. Viva, Reddit, Canadian politics. Yeah, I was told I must vote with a pencil. Okay, so I guess the issue is you are not required to vote with a pencil. Oh, Reddit. I haven't seen this shithole website in a long time. Sorry. Ugh, this brings back bad memories. Yesterday I went to vote. I was told... handed me a pencil. I was genuinely confused, asked for a pen. To my surprise, she told me that I must use a pencil. I told her it was ridiculous. I didn't want to use a pencil. I didn't like the idea that something's important could be erased. I wasn't rude. Out of nowhere, the woman started crying, like actual tears, because I questioned the use of a pencil. She walked away, brought me to a supervisor who eventually gave me a pen. I just find it completely absurd that you use it to make your vote. Elections Canada, yada, yada. Elections Canada must provide the elector with a black lead pencil to mark their ballot. However, there is nothing in the law that prevents an elector from... Yeah, so... Good. I knew that I found that. Anyhow, that's that I'm not concerned. If you're concerned that they're going to erase and that, I mean, you're talking about another level of election fraud. I wouldn't be concerned about that, but maybe I'm an idiot. A fucking pencil, says Sammy. LOL. If you know, you know. Hold on. What is this? Can I bring this one up? I need to know now because I think there was something else to this. Is this from a show? Let me see if I can find a meme. Anyone else get that? I don't know, so I don't. I want to know what I don't know now. Sammy, what is it? Is it just the joke, or is there a deeper joke to that? All right, back to the chat. I found the page about it. It says Griffin, Elections Canada. Yeah, you can vote with the pencil. Russian accent. Okay, hold on. Fucking pencil movie quote. John Wick. Okay, well, I said. You see, I would never have known that because I gave up on John Wick after the first one. Does this bother anybody to watch violence?
I'm pretty sure that scene was from the first one.
The pencil?
Yeah.
I hate. Okay.
So the scene he's quoting is when Vigo is saying he killed the guy with a fucking pencil.
Okay. I first of all, pencil. I did not like John Wick 1, and I love dogs. And I'm fed up with these movies that are like kill movies. What was the one that I watched on the airplane? Damn it. I didn't even do the movies that I watched on the airplane coming back. I watched. Oh, cripe, I'm going freaking senile. I'm not going to remember it. I watched a great movie. Did I talk about it in Cryptis about an accidental life, a woman who got paralyzed rock climbing in Yosemite?
No.
Not Yosemite, El Capitan. It was very good. I want to write a letter like where you start watching a movie and then you're like fully enveloped. The movie's amazing. You feel like an accidental life. But what was the crappy movie that I watched on the way back? Crap, I forget. Doesn't matter. I'll remember. It was not good. Now, someone said great movie. Okay, Michigan Winter Days, and I think that's in respect of the clip. Oh, here's the clip. I'm not bringing. I don't know. Some people might not want to see stupid violence, even though it's stupid violence. I'm glad they're not using Sharpies.
No, this one's a quote. There's no violence in this one. You brought up the violence.
That's because I didn't know any better. Okay, here we go. Let's go here. Okay, here we go. Here.
I once saw him kill 3 men in a bar with a pencil. With a fucking pencil.
Okay, well that's it. Still don't like the movie. All right. What else do we got here? Let me go down. Okay, we got Viva says hyphen. I bet you ain't watched Kingdom of Heaven. I haven't. Goodness sake. Okay. Hey Siri, text Marion, my wife.
What would you like to say to Marion?
We need to watch Kingdom of Heaven, period. There. Done. It's done. It was a great scene, says Sammy. So yeah, we're going to watch Kingdom of Heaven. Scrolling up here, we got to kick the can and Trump crushing the can. That's a good cartoon. Let me refresh and see what's on the left-hand side here. Crack back a little bit. The gators. Dude. I don't want anyone getting nervous. I'm not going to get eaten by a gator. Where was the big one here? Here. That's a picture. Let me see. Is this the one here? There was one where it's... No, not that one. Yeah, here, check this out. Okay.
Beautiful heron. Right over there. Now, I'm not saying I'm an alligator whisperer.
I don't know if you can hear it, but
I'm just saying that usually at these 2 trees,
there's usually an alligator. And there was. Look at this. They're so flipping cute. They're so cute, but I saw a ginormous one.
They're so cute. Are you talking about the gators?
Yeah, they are. They're fat little pigs. Oh yeah, here. So check this out. Okay, this one. Can you hear the audio when I do that?
Yeah, but not very much.
Okay, so I'll go like this here. Hold on a second, like this. No, cancel. Okay.
So you didn't buy the dongle and wire that I told you to buy.
Of course I did.
pretty big.
I didn't.
Not huge. It's in its mouth. Any babies hanging out in its mouth? It's looking right at me. Oh,
Like how?
that's a big guy.
That's cute in Cryptus. It hops like a little dog. They're cute.
Interesting. They're terrifying. They're amazing. But cute is not one of the descriptors that I would.
So they're cute when they're not going after your dog, says Ali Michael. Red Team 33 says, Viva, the execution of Reynald of Chatillon in Kingdom of Heaven is very historically accurate. I play it every class. Huh. Okay, Red Team. In the Belfry says, Viva, you know some gators can climb trees. They lie in wait until... Shut up in the Belfry. There's no way that that's true. Hold on one second. My mother would have told me that.
And by the way, what I did also, I had Marion write the word gullible above where you're sitting right now, just to make sure that we talk about this.
Yes, alligators can climb trees. Studies have shown that multiple crocodiles can climb trees, often basking. Okay, that's different. Although, in Cryptus, I'm seeing pictures of freaking gators in trees. However, climbing a tree may not help you out of their harm's way. This is from How Stuff Works. Even with their short legs, alligators are exceptional climbers, especially when traversing obstacles with inside corners. Oh, no, Kim, that's not climbing trees. Well, now I'm on Reddit that says, today I learned that crocodiles and alligators can climb trees. Luckily, I'm not biking under very many trees. In fact, there are very little trees where I go. But yeah, that's great. It's another thing to. I'm gonna at least they don't. If I don't see a tornado of alligators, I'll be fine. You don't want to lie. You don't want to be like Jonah and the whale, Viva and the gator. But I was just telling Marion this morning that we got to do a sequel to Louis the Lobster, Viva and the Gator, a fantasy story about a man who gets eaten by an alligator and comes out of its poop. Very dirty. Off to make some food, says Tzvi Hansis. Yeah, actually, I'll probably do the same thing. Going up here, Sammy says, yep, there's a good reason why people gather in groups to pray. It's a way, it's like we have a primitive knowledge that gatherings together and chanting meditation on one thing magnifies energy. Maybe that's why craziness and frenzies spread in a crowd. Interesting thing to think about. I've often thought about that, not in terms of prayer, but in terms of a rock concert. And like having 50,000 people channel the same energy of awesomeness and how that must feel for like Blink 182 to get out on stage and feel it. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, but I believe that I am not amenable, not amenable. I'm not susceptible to going mad in a crowd or mob think. I'm convinced I'm not, because whenever I see that, I tend to go the other way and be rebellious. Ray Kajua says, did you know that American soldiers who participated in the military games in Wuhan departed from Everett, Washington? Many of those soldiers got sick, but the question is whether they got sick at the games from exposure or already exposed before they went. Yeah, or like a Trump rally, says Boopsy. Always with the Blink 182, says Sally O'Malley. Yeah, Oasis too, but the only time I saw Oasis, there were only like 15,000 people in the stadium, and it wasn't the most energetic show ever. Smashing Pumpkins. Oh. But can you imagine, like, to command, to get on stage and to be able to like command the energy and the positive energy, or at least the frenzy of 20,000 people, and to get, when they make the crowd sing, or not make, when they get the crowd to sing and you hear in unison 20,000 people. What was that song? Who sings it? It's Macklemore, I think. I wanna fly. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to get it. Can't remember what the movie was yet either. Hold on. The movie. Oh, yes, I got the movie. It was called Very Greedy People. Very Greedy. Let's see. I would give it a 0. Very Greedy People. Rotten, or maybe it was called Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said, I feel bad rating movies. It's called Greedy People. Yeah. These movies are so, I'm so fed up with these stupid movies where everybody dies at it. Yeah, I spoiled it. Everybody dies. The plot is so freaking stupid. Has anybody seen this movie? We're going to end on this, but in the chat, I doubt anybody here has watched this. Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins definitely put on a great show. They're amazing. Duck Fat. I saw them at their reunion because someone invited us to their booth in Montreal. Awesome. Okay, so who put on the best concert from the 90s to the thousands. The best concert I've ever been to in my life was Blink-182 in 1999 in Paris with my wife, girlfriend at the time. Hyphen says, we talked about that, Viva. October 2019, 2 planes of soldiers came back from Wuhan all sick. Yeah, that I remember. Now, who has seen this movie? Nobody's seen the movie. The movie sucks. It's a stupid, preposterous movie that can't figure out if it's comedy or not, with a racial undertone to it that makes absolutely no sense. And freaking Gordon Love Hewitt, whatever that guy's name, is just terrible. Everybody dies, and it was exactly like that other one that took place in the coffee shop. People behave so out of character because it doesn't matter. It's stupid, and it was trying so hard to be like Fargo. I got to watch Fargo again with my kid. That one I think I can watch with my kid. Okay, that's it. Let's take a few more questions. We're going to end this guy. I got to pee, and I got to do some stuff with the kids. The kid just dragged us to see Minecraft movie. Neurodivergent. My kid said that the movie was good. It was good. They said it was good. Call me antisocial if you must, but please don't actually call me. Queen, says Zoe Grant. When did what's his face? Don't tell me his name.
Mercury.
What did you say?
Freddie Mercury.
Why did you tell me his name? When did he die? 85? Freddie Mercury death. 91. Okay. I've never seen Queen. The biggest concert that I was Fish. Oh. For other reasons also, that Fish concert was like being on another planet. Holy cow. And I walked halfway up the ski hill at night alone. It was so... I was a bit of a loner when I was a kid. Okay, now what am I doing here? I'm going back here. So nobody saw them in the early 80s, says Zoe Grant. Viva, you better go and use that little hose God gave you, says Zach the cat. I'm not yet on the verge of a ruptured bladder, but we're getting close. No weird trans stuff that I noticed. I guess that's a lot. Okay, I saw Queen, says Hyphen. And that is it. I got everybody's tipped questions, correct? Viva, what are we doing with you in Chattanooga? Viva, there's okay, that's Ruth saying. I got Sammy. New president was elected in 2024. Got that. El Salvador. Got that. Sammy. Encryptus. Okay, we got all of them. People, that was fantastic. Great show. I'm going to go make sure I clip something now because pulling out some hair. And do I have another energy drink? No, Topo Chico. I'm going to go have a Topo Chico carbonated water. It's the best carbonated water out there. With it's the lime Topo Chico. All right, go. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you Sunday, peeps, no later than and probably earlier. What do you want? He's doing the floss. He's doing the floss. What is he doing the floss for? Do you want to do the floss? We're locals. Come. You can say hi. Ethan's doing the floss. I can't move the camera.
Stand on you then.
No. Okay, he's gonna. Don't stand on swivel chairs. Stand up. I got you. Hold on. Shh. It's ASMR back cracking with Viva Friends. Oh, you heard that one, right? Okay, you can do the floss. Hold on. Go. We shall end on the floss. Okay. Oh God, you elbowed me in the forehead. Okay, good.
Your forehead can't be that big.
My forehead is that big. My God. All right, we're going. You want to say peace out? VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com.
I remember saying that.
Okay. All right. Why are they singing in there? Okay, we're out, peeps. Enjoy the weekend and Godspeed. God bless. See you Sunday, no later than and probably earlier. Booyah.